Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel today. We're back on GT Sport and we're back with our first race for the channel at the new Sardegna track. Now we're actually at the version of the track that probably wasn't my favourite version. This is version number C of Sardegna. We're racing it the proper way round. Now we're in a CLIO V6 single make race from last night's online stream. That's why we've got myself there in the corner with the steering wheel, the pedal camera. We're starting from P3. We've got traction control on 1 for the start, and we're going to have quite an entertaining race here now, as you're going to see. I'm sure if you watched the stream last night, you will already know. Firestorm there, jumping that start just a fraction too early. He obviously wanted to get the jump and get ahead of Overwhelm in front of us, and didn't quite make that work. So I put myself straight into P2 and working our way into turn 1. And what a combination this is. The CLIO V6 is on this game with the update. Probably, I have to say this is probably my favourite car on the update now. I've actually raced it. Perfection, I have to say, really enjoyable. With these sports medium tyres on which we put on for this race at this track, what a combination it is, as you see now. Going into this really fast left-hand corner, a tricky corner this way, you downshift it into third, trying to hit the apex, and without running too far wide, you can just run wide there and get away. But you see, we both run wide, but not so wide that we hit the barrier, and that is one thing you do have to be very careful of at this track as we now work our way uphill. A short shift into 5th gear to get that slipstream and to help us pull us all the way up this hill. This is such a tricky corner in these CLIO V6s, as you've got to brake as you're turning and then get it slowed down enough to go through this very wide final corner, which really does opens up so many opportunities for different lines, overtaking opportunities, and just different ways to approach that corner. As we're now picking up that slipstream again, we're going to try and go around the outside now of Overwhelm. In front of us a very fast driver, and try and see if we can take the outside line around turn 1, which is actually quite possible with the nature of the corner. It's kind of cambered in, as you can see there, a little bit of camber into the apex helps you get grip on the outside, so you can actually sometimes make that work, as we just have to pull out of it a bit and back into the slipstream of Overwhelm in P1 and looking to make another move somewhere. As you see there, picking up the slipstream again, looks amazing. These CLIO V6s, I absolutely love them. Probably one of my favourite additions now, partly because this was one of my favourite cars when I was very young. Just after I passed my test when I was young, I wanted a CLIO V6. I couldn't afford one, so had to get myself a CLIO 172. That was a downgrade I have to take, but even then I love that car, and these are just a joy to drive. As you see us pushing the limits there, the front end rolling around, being careful on the throttle now, coming out that final corner. You can see the rear stepping out a bit on the P1s there, got a little bit loose. We're trying to feed that power in very slowly just to make sure that we get the best exit as possible. And again, we're picking up a really nice draft from P1 now going into turn 1. You can see that Firestorm's had an issue. It looks like he's either made a mistake somewhere or he's been took out by another car. I'm not too sure, but we're going to try and go around the outside and do the move we talked about before, hanging it around the outside, braking a little later, and we're going to go side by side through this corner. We just about keep the front end of our car side by side, which gives us a room on the next corner, and now we're going to be going side by side into possibly the trickiest corner on this layout, this fast left hand corner. Will I be able to hold it around the outside? It's going to be very hard. I kind of wanted to brake a little bit earlier, and we just couldn't get the car into the apex, and we're both going to roll a little bit wide there, and I lose a bit of momentum now down the hill, which is putting P3 into this battle now for this top position in this race. You can see there in the silver V6 there, closing in behind me. Luckily for myself, we're still in that slipstream range, and we're going to have to be very aggressive through it and try and get back into the draft as soon as possible. You see, not able to get that wide line in, but I wanted to be aggressive on the power. A bit too early, the rear starting to step out there as we're on the power, but just about managing to catch it. And the hand, I have to say, I've said it before, but the handling is so nice to drive with this car. I think with these sports medium tyres, we hit the sweet spot. It's enough there to let the rear step out when you're aggressive on the throttle, but also it's got plenty of grip, which is one thing that these cars were known for, that they would plenty of grip, but when you push it over the limit, it just gives up on you a little bit, and that's what it felt like in here as we now go again for another lap and trying to look for a way past Overwhelming P1. So far, a really entertaining race, trying to see if we can get past. We've only got 7 laps to do it. This was a small sprint race that we were doing last night. We were rotating the tracks. We did a few other races as well, and we just wanted to get ourselves familiar with these layouts. We haven't done the reverse yet. We may be doing another stream on them in the future, as we now go downhill, getting extremely close to Overwhelm again, and unfortunately I had to kind of look to the left there because had to kind of back out because we picked up too much slipstream really, as he cuts that corner a little bit, very aggressive through there, gets away without a penalty. I think that corner's quite lenient on, which is quite nice to see. Maybe they've altered that. Now they did say on the patch notes that they've updated the shortcut limits with penalties. Maybe they've been a bit more lenient now. If it's not actually gaining you time, maybe the penalties are not as strict. It'll be interesting to see how that works out over the next few weeks, as we again picking up that slipstream. We're going to go for that similar move again. We're going to have to go to the right. He holds that defensive line on that left, so, and then squeezes us out a bit, a little bit of contact, but nothing too harsh. Just a little bit of rubbing his racing, totally acceptable, as we now pull back into that slipstream and look for trying to find the way past. And this is what I love about racing on GT Sport. You know, this is an open lobby. This is not a sport mode race. This is just a public lobby. Obviously, there is some fast drivers in there because we were streaming at the time, so people come in and want to join. But this is the type of racing why we play GT Sport. Look how close it is. We've got P3 all over the rear of myself. We're trying to look for a way past P1 and trying to figure out a way past a new track where, you know, we're maybe not at the best around here yet. We still got to learn it, you know, 100%. But we're trying to figure it out, see where we can brake late. I realise you can get away with braking very late there, but then you become vulnerable from P3. But then you get a stronger exit, as we now again. You can see pulling away from P3 and getting closer to P1 as we start another lap now, the penultimate lap, lap 6 out of 7. Can we see if we can find the way past on this lap? It's kind of like, can you time this slipstream perfectly? You see we're picking up quite a strong draft now, and again we can't really get close enough there, so we're going to take a normal racing line and try and get a strong exit from the corners. You can see again, looking back on ourselves, very nice exit from that corner, picking up the toe, and again, are we going to be close enough to maybe throw one up the inside on this really fast left-hand corner? It'd be very brave if we did that. We have a little look there, but that's more just to put the leader under a bit of pressure, because you can't really make that move there. He goes into the corner very aggressively, runs wide, goes over the curb, nearly loses it, but then clips the wall there as he comes back on, nearly loses the rear. That gives us massive momentum now, and we're going to try and go for a move around the outside of this extremely tricky corner. Now this is a very dangerous move, going around the outside now. We're going to find it very hard. We're on the grass on half the car, but luckily we just somehow managed to stop. I thought we were heading off into the barriers there, but because half the car was still on the tarmac, we made it work, and amazingly we all come out of that corner without no contact. P3 just tucks in behind me, Overwhelm just does the undercut on us, and again we got into P1 for a fraction of a second, but not enough there, and still in P2 in this race. And again we're going to still put some pressure on to see if we can go for a move at the end. We're going to try, I was going to fake a move there, you could see I went to do the undercut, but realised we were a bit too far back to really throw one up the inside there. It would have been too risky and possibly ended a very good race in a way that we wouldn't have wanted, as we now again trying to see if we can put him under pressure. We're a bit further back now, so we're going to have to try and really be aggressive through this fast left-hand corner. So a downshift into third gear, trying to bite the car onto apex there, pretty much hitting it spot on the power nice and early. P3 runs wide there, clips the wall. He's put himself out of contention now for the win in this race, so it's down to myself and Overwhelm who can get the win. Can I really lunge one up the inside on this final corner? I wasn't sure if it'd be worth an attempt. We're going to try and bite it in very tight to the right hand side, you see, and try and widen our line to get a really good exit, but very cleverly Overwhelm there. Just a little bit of braking input on the apex prevents myself from being able to really go aggressive on there, and we go down the start straight for an absolutely amazing race at the new Sardegna track. It's the C version, and what a combination that was. Make sure you give this try out if you've got, you know, a lobby of group of people that are clean racers. Very enjoyable combination to try, and a really fun race. Probably one of the most fun races I've had on this game in a long time, so really enjoyed that track. And I have to say, what an amazing job Polyphony have done with this new track. Overtaking opportunities at all variations. I think that A, B and C are, I was personally thinking that A and B were my favourites, but now I think that C is up there as well, especially in cars like that. It really does work well in the lower grip, slightly slower cars. It really does work a treat, so give that track a try out, and we'll be back with more races at race A and race B over the next few days. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, click that notification button so you don't miss any future videos, and we'll be back very soon. Thanks again for watching, everyone.